I don't see it so special. Every Tuesday for me is Fat, and by Fat Wednesday, Fat Thursday, Fat Friday. Maybe I had a fatter Tuesday than most people. I'm not sure. But. So I want to finish. When I was here last month, I told a story about working for the mob. Anybody affiliated with the mob here?
Woo!
Oh, good. So we can talk freely, I guess. I can duck, you know. My good friend Peter, he suggested that I call the piece, the names have been changed to protect the guilty, so perhaps I shall. You know, being a stand-up, you work for many people, some strange people. One guy I worked for, his name was Barry Dean Productions. And he's calling right now, he's always calling. And he had a messy divorce with his wife, and she took the company and the name Barry Dean, right? Now that was his name. So I called him one day and he answers, Barry Bean Productions. Barry Bean speaking. And I go, Barry Bean, are you formerly Barry Dean? He says, yes, but my wife owns that now. I was like, oh my God. He must have had a bad lawyer. He didn't have a Jewish lawyer, definitely. But, and then I worked for this guy. There was a company called Spotlight Entertainment. This was a big company for comedians, you know. They handled a lot of great comedians. But the whole thing went under. The guy who owned it, you know, got into the drugs, and you get into the drugs, and, you know. And people didn't get their money. The whole thing. So some little guy somewhere decides he's going to make Spotlight Today or Spotlight Now, or pick a Spotlight name, you know, but add a little something to it. And I worked not for the real Spotlight talent, but for the other one, the faux Spotlight. And he would get me some bookings and stuff. And last time I was here, I talked about working in this one private club that had the sliding, like the speakeasy, the sliding thing to see if you were approved. And of course, Tickles in Bay Ridge, which was an experience. You may recall for those who remember the story. And this is the third tale in my tale of working for the mob. This guy of the Spotlight Nutfo, I guess, not so light spot, though I don't know what you want to call him, got me a gig at the My Way Cafe. My Way as in the famous Frank Sinatra affiliated to the mob song, My Way, did it My Way, right? In lovely Howard Beach, home of John Gotti and friends, you know. And this was the time that John Gotti was incarcerated. He was up on trial and all. He was the Teflon Don, you remember, right? And I think his son then went on trial a short time after. But anyway, I was told, working this club, not to mention John Gotti's name. Whatever you do, do not mention. Now, my big bit at the time was Lou Costello at the John Gotti trial. This was my big bit, my big closer. So I told the booker, don't worry, I'll make it Al Capone, Lou Costello at the Al Capone trial. Okay, fine. So I arrive at the club, and it's a beautiful club, and I see outside these beautiful potted plants. So I say to the manager, oh, these are beautiful plants, but it must be a bitch at night, you gotta drag them in. And he goes, why would we drag them in? I go, well, because somebody could take them. And he says, nobody's taking those plants. Nobody. Okay, sure, no problem. So I did 4 shows that weekend. It was a Friday, Saturday. There was like an 8 or 9 o'clock and then a midnight show. And I'm doing great there, no problem. And comes to the midnight show Saturday night. I'm a little tired. And instead of saying, and now Lou Costello at the Al Capone trial, I say, now Lou Costello at the John Gotti trial. The whole place freezes. The busboy's pouring water. It froze. The maitre d', his name was Lucifer, and he looked at me. Lucifer, who had a voice that only a Lucifer can have, was kind of like, he said John's name, he said John's name. You could actually hear far away in the distance from the quiet and going, he said John's name, he said John's name, you know. So I was like, oh my God, I said the John Gotti, but I can't take it back, so I did it. Let me do the bit for you to see how it is, okay? Lou Costello at the John Gotti trial. Mr. DA, Are you asking me if I think John Gotti's a member of organized crime? Well, I'll tell you, confidentially, oh, there's John Gotti. There's John Gotti. There's John Gotti. John Gotti. John Gotti. John Gotti. John Gotti. So, the whole place explodes in laughter because I guess in a way it celebrates Teflon Don, right? Explodes in laughter. Lucifer finally shuts up because through the whole thing you can still hear, he said John's name, he said John's name in the distance. So I immediately realized I have to apologize to the manager. I want my pay, and I want to get home alive, you know. So I realized I must apologize to the manager. So I run up to him, and I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I become like Woody Allen, one of his early funny movies. I didn't mean to be didactic or facetious in any way. I respect the club and the man, and I wouldn't want to offend anybody. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, does that swing me? Anyway, so I'm becoming this kind of Jew, you know, so the guy puts his arm around me, you know, as only an Italian can, you know, and our beautiful bartender, Alexis, over there. Let's hear it for Alexis. Don't forget to... I'm sure she's encountered many a customer that put that arm around like that, especially if they're Italian, and so put the arm around me like this, and he says to me, and I'm still apologizing, and he says, you know, there's worse things a person can do. Am I right? And yes, you are correct, and I respect the club and everything it stands. You know, I don't know why I'm doing. I don't even have glasses on. I'm adjusting my glasses because I'm so into the Woody Allen thing. So I of course, and you know, normally I'm still doing it. You know, when I play the Comedy Cellar, the comic strip, I do John Gotti, but here to respect the club, I always do Al Capone. So he says to me, you know, you should do Al Capone everywhere. You know, because Al Capone and Lou Costello were of the same time period. So I'm saying, yeah, but no, that's the funny part. I'm taking Lou Costello and I'm bringing him to John, and the whole and he goes, no, I think, and at some point, schmuck, I'm supposed to agree. Stupid, I'm supposed to agree. And then after a while, it goes, oh, yes, you are correct, sir, you are correct. Yes, from wherever I go, Finland, China, it will always be Lou Costello at the Al Capone trial. So anyway, I got paid, I'm still alive, and thank you very much. I'm Bob Greenberg.